Welcome to the Exam Room Podcast, brought to you by the Physicians Committee. Hey there, I'm the weight loss champion, Chuck Carroll. Thanks so very much for raising your health IQ in more than 150 countries around the world, making the Exam Room one of the most consumed nutrition podcasts anywhere on the planet today. And we come on the air today with an alert. Already we know that heart disease is the leading cause of death, but now a brand new study by the American Heart Association projects that more than 6 out of 10 Americans will have cardiovascular disease by the year 2050. 6 out of 10. You could be thinking, what in the world can we do to stop this deadly trend? Well, a lot of people will say, well, just clean up your diet. Problem is, for us guys, we think that when you clean up your diet, you got to check your man card. You got to stop eating all of those steaks and those burgers. But my friends, as we have said for years, and this is more true now than ever, nothing could be further from the truth. You can be all that is man and still eat a healthy diet. And case in point, proof is in the pudding, as they say, or actually proof is in the burger. For that, we welcome our good friend from PlantStrong, Mr. Rip Esselstyn. What is up, Rip? How you doing, man?
Chuck, it's so good to be back on the Exam Room Podcast. The last time I saw you, Chuck, if I'm not mistaken, Washington, D.C. And that was a big event that you guys threw for the Esselstyn family, and we're still buzzing over it.
I mean, I know that we're talking about all that is man, but when I think about that night and just seeing your mom pull that big old tire across the stage that night, that was epic, man.
Absolutely epic. Everything about Ann is epic. You know, Ann doesn't do anything on a small scale. She's big energy, and she epitomizes what I think most of us want to be like when we're in our late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, man. Small woman, epic energy. Everything else about her is enormous. Just the frame is small. Everything else about Ann is just enormous. But I think that runs in the entire family. When y'all do something, y'all do it up big. And that's why today I'm excited to have you here, because we are tackling a big old problem here with heart disease. And as I said at the top, you don't have to check your man card to get healthy. I'm sure that if you were to reach into your wallet right behind your driver's license, boom, is your man card. Your whole journey to health and getting on this grandiose stage with it began in a Texas firehouse, and it doesn't get much more macho and masculine than that, man.
No. Yeah, I mean, you talk about a bunch of male macho firefighters. I mean, we're talking, this is the land of beef. And I was able to get these guys to check their man cards at the door and, basically say goodbye to the spare ribs, the burgers, the steaks, the chicken, the fish, all the flesh that has all the cholesterol, the saturated fat, the problematic animal protein, and say yes to beans and rice and portobello mushroom fajitas and pizzas without the pepperonis and the cheese, all the good stuff. And of course, you know what happened, Chuck, and everybody listening. These guys really kind of morphed themselves from medical time bombs to healthy superheroes, and they did it without the animal products and the animal byproducts. And that's kind of where the whole PlantStrong movement was launched, a Texas male firehouse.
Yeah, man. And that's just a single case study. But, as I was just saying at the top of the show, 6 out of 10 people will have cardiovascular disease now, those projections by the year 2050. How much of that do you really think is driven by this macho culture that men are driven by in the U.S.?
Well, here's the thing, Chuck. My understanding right now is that 51% of us will perish from some form of cardiovascular disease, whether it's some form of a stroke or or heart disease. So that's 51% right now. And so you said the article that you saw shows it'll be 60% by what year was it?
2050. So 2050. Not very long. Yeah.
I mean, 2050, we're at 2024 right now. I'm actually shocked to hear that it'll take that long, given the fact that 62% of America's caloric consumption is coming from refined and hyper refined and hyper palatized food that has all the building blocks that promote chronic Western disease, primarily heart disease, whether it's the dietary cholesterol, the saturated fat, all the usual suspects, the oils, the sugars. And most of America they're not making food at home from scratch using fresh ingredients. They're buying a lot of packaged, boxed, and canned foods, which is just leading, or I should say, contributing to the heart disease, really pandemic that's going on right now. And the other thing that's going on right now, Chuck, that I think is not doing any of us any favors, is there is so much noise and confusion that is swirling around right now regarding what is the best dietary pattern. Is it to do low carb, high fat, low fat, high protein, low protein? Is it the keto? Is it the paleo? Is it the carnivore? Is it the lion diet? That's the new, kind of kid on the block where you're just eating meat and water. I mean, truly. And unfortunately, Americans are not following the preponderance of the scientific literature, which very, very definitively points towards what you and I are huge advocates for, which is whole food plant-based. This to me is the bullseye where each and every one of us wants to be going towards. So my recommendation is get on the whole food plant-based path and then figure it out. Figure out how to make it work with your lifestyle, in your household, with your husband, with your wife, with your kids, with your cousins, your friends, but figure out how to make it work, because this is, to me, first and foremost, what you want to focus on if you want to accelerate the number one asset that you have, which is your health.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, I think back to when I was still overweight, Rip, and I honestly thought that when I lost weight, magically everything would just fall into place. All of those other conditions that were prevalent because I was overweight would just magically go away. And while I'm sure there is some improvement, I think that by and large, a lot of people feel that way. And that's why they turn to things like the keto diet, the lion diet, things like that you're talking about, where they think, well, if I just lose the weight, I'm good to go. And what do I really love? Well, I love those burgers. I love bacon. And so let me just eat all of this meat, lose the weight, and I'll be good to go. But the part that they're missing, is the long-term effects that come with this, the high cholesterol that comes with this, the increased risk for Alzheimer's disease, things like that. And so when we look at these journeys, we look at them as weight loss journeys, but it quickly shifted for me from being just a weight loss journey to, a heart disease journey and, a fighting cancer journey, lowering the risk of Alzheimer's disease. I think that people are kind of missing that big picture, and they're so hyper-focused on just losing weight that they're really looking at all of the other side effects that can come from these other types of diets, Rip.
Yeah. Yeah, people are looking for short-term gain, and they're bankrupting their long-term health in the process. So it's super unfortunate. And I would, as I just said before, I think if we could have people focus instead of on weight loss, if you could focus on just getting healthy. Right? This is my primary goal here is to get healthy. I want to improve my pre-diabetes. I no longer want to be pre-diabetic. I want to avoid heart disease that is run in every male in my household for 3 generations. I have the gene that makes me very susceptible to Alzheimer's disease. So I want to do everything I can following whole food plant-based and the great research that the Schurzeyes have done to make sure that I'm not going down that path with Alzheimer's. Autoimmune diseases that seem to be running rampant these days. So let's focus on getting healthy, and then the natural byproduct, side effect is sustainable, weight loss where that is not the primary goal, but it is a secondary and very, very exciting outcome. I find that's kind of a healthier way to mentally tackle it.
All right. So I kind of feel like we've dumped a whole bunch of cold water on the people who are just like, yeah, I'm going to eat, burgers and bacon and I'm going to lose weight. And now, maybe they're watching, they're listening. They're like, woe was me. If I can't eat that stuff, why even bother? Here's what I love about what you're doing with PlantStrong is like kind of what we were talking about at the top is like, you don't have to stop eating those types of foods that you've enjoyed your whole life. You just have to eat different versions of them. So when you're crafting these foods for PlantStrong, how much of that is kind of at the forethought of your process? Like, man, I'm got to make sure that we got something for the fellas, like this new line of burgers that you're coming out with, or out now, actually, I should say.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I so appreciate you asking about this, and let me take a step back and let you know that I've been in kind of the food business since 2010, when I was a healthy eating partner / ambassador for Whole Food Market Stores. I got the invitation from John Mackey, who was the then CEO of Whole Food Market Stores. Little shout out. He is, I just had him on my podcast to talk about the whole story. It's incredible. Chuck, I recommend you get John on your podcast.
I would love to get John on.
And I'll make a connection.
Thanks,
That'd be fabulous. But so for 10 years at Whole Foods, we did a food line that encompassed all of my tenants. But the one thing that was missing from that food line, and that was called, the Engine 2 food line, health was of paramount importance, the nutritional guidelines, but what wasn't was the taste. And so my new mission statement for all things PlantStrong, this is the company I started in 2021, is we want to be the most nutritious, delicious, and convenient plant-based brand on the planet. And I think we all know that there's a lot of plant-based foods that are on the grocery store shelves these days. But unfortunately, I'd say 98% of these plant-based products are not going to get you to the promised land when it comes to avoiding heart disease, type 2 diabetes, Alzheimer's, all that stuff. If anything, they're going to contribute to it because they're made with such fractionated ingredients, copious amounts of salt, sugar, fat, oils, which, yes, they taste good, but they are going to like burn you down the road. So our goal was to really create be a lighthouse for other brands that are out there to say, you know what, you can be healthy and delicious and do good things for your health. And so that was the whole goal, because people, they want to break from the kitchen every 2 or 3 meals a week. And so that's what we've done. And we've created a line of cereals, granolas, pizza crust kits, teas, chilies and stews, cornbread muffin and mixes, pancake and waffle mixes. We just launched some milks at all Whole Food Market stores, and we'll be going into some other places very soon. And you just said it, Chuck. We also just launched our skillet burger mixes. This is what they look like. And I'm very, very happy to show you these. We have 3. There's a portobello mushroom. There's a black bean. And here's a sweet curry. And the beautiful thing about these is it's a dry mix. It's a 6-ounce dry mix. You just add 6 to 7 ounces of warm water or veggie broth of your choice. I'm partial to this one here that has no added sodium. And then you just form it into patties. You take a spoon and put it on your nonstick skillet, or you can put it on parchment paper and bake it in the oven. And these things, they yield the best whole food, plant-based burgers you've ever tried. In fact, Chuck, we first launched these in February 15th of 2024. And the manufacturer that we've partnered with to make the mix, they kind of screwed the pooch, and they made a bag that was literally 8 sizes too big. We had to throw stickers on the outside, and we told everybody, listen, thank you for being part of the PlantStrong Test Kitchen. Please don't judge a burger by its bag. There was a goof that was made in the ordering of the bags. And so give us your feedback. Let us know what you think of these products. People absolutely adored them. We thought we had 3 months of inventory. We ran out in 3 weeks, what we thought would last us 3 months. And so we just got the new ones back in, and this is what they look like again. And I want to read to you, Chuck, and everybody, just the ingredients so you can see how absolutely pure as the white driven snow they are.
Bring it. It's as pure as the white driven snow, says the man from Texas. All right, bring what you know about
That's
white
right,
driven
where
snow.
it's now 98 degrees.
Yeah, right.
All right. So this is the black bean. Okay. Ingredients: organic oats, black beans, sunflower seeds, quinoa flakes, granulated garlic, corn, onion powder, cumin, red and green bell peppers, sea salt, cilantro, cayenne. Right? That is pretty darn sweet. And that's the black bean. And the portobello and the sweet curry are just as clean and just as wonderful.
That's outstanding, man. And I'm envisioning thinking of like doing a taste test with my father-in-law downstairs. He is old school Southern guy.
Yeah.
Really sits in his recliner pretty much all day, loves his burgers, loves his chicken tenders. People are shocked that that kind of stuff gets served in my house, but I think that the guy's 80 some odd years old. He doesn't want to change. I'm not going to force it on him. I've got him drinking almond milk now, which is great. I got to get him to sample yours. But what I really want to do is get my hands on some of your burger mixes and just do a Charlie Wright taste test. And if Charlie Wright gives it the thumbs up, then you know it's good, because this is a guy whose palate hasn't changed in over 8 decades. And I'm thinking that I saw on Instagram where you fired up the grill and you grilled these things and they stand up well on an open flame. So what if I did that for Charlie?
And here's the key. If you're going to do it that way, Chuck, because I did it over Memorial Day weekend, you want to form the patties, put them on parchment paper on a cookie sheet, throw them into the freezer for just about an hour, and then you put them on the grill, because you need them to be kind of frozen in order for them to stay together. Otherwise, you're not going to have much luck. But these were just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. The other thing I want to say about them, for people that, we know a lot of people that are gluten-free, right? They're avoiding the gluten. These are all gluten-free certified, as you can see there.
For sure.
And couldn't be happier with them. The other thing I want to shout out to is, and you mentioned this, we've got 3 pancake and waffle mixes, and I would put these up against any pancake and waffle mix on the market. We have a sweet potato in ancient grain, and all you do is add water, stir it up to the consistency you want, and then throw it on the griddle. We have a home style gluten-free for those that want the gluten-free. Performs incredibly well. And then we have a 7-grain pancake mix as well. Chuck, every Sunday we fire up the griddle and we make them. We throw in blueberries. We throw in sliced bananas. My daughter loves the vegan dark chocolate chips in there. And you can't go wrong.
You'll get gourmet. Do you make smiley faces with the chocolate chips on the pancake? You have a fun Sunday?
No, I push them down so that you can't tell there's chocolate chips. Otherwise, they get kind of the chocolate meets with the grill. And
yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
So you get like a little chocolatey surprise when you bite into it. That's good stuff.
You do. The other thing, Chuck, and we were talking about this before we went live, is we just launched these guys. We have four PlantStrong milks, and here's an almond, here's an oat and almond, here's a oat and walnut, and then here's just a plain oat. But like, for example, these two right here, you've got two ingredients. You've got water and you've got almond, water, and oats. And then we have some fortification with some vitamins and minerals. And that's it. So we're as simple and delicious as it gets. And we're not using the usual suspects that you're going to find in plant-based milks. You're going to find phosphates. You're going to find oils. You're going to find stabilizers, emulsifiers, carrageenan. Almost, I would say 80% have some sort of a refined sugar that's in there in the first 3 or 4 ingredients. And so we were able to find a manufacturer that uses this patented technology called hydro release, where they can use the whole grain, nut, and seed without any waste. And it creates this whole creamy consistency without having to use stabilizers, gums, and the like. So we're super, super thrilled with where we are. And so far, people are just loving these milks.
I can, and this is just a free plug. Again, speaking on behalf of me, not the Physicians Committee. I was blown away by the taste of the regular unsweetened almond milk. Obviously, I've tried just about every single one that is commercially available. Flavor-wise, I will put yours toe-to-toe, and I'm not saying this just because you're on the show right now, but I will put yours toe-to-toe with anything else that is on the market right now. That includes the ones that have all of those additives, and then the ones that are like, oh, only 3 simple ingredients. Right. There's just something about the way that yours was formulated that is a cut above. What was the process like in really honing in on the taste? Was it like trial after trial after trial till it really got dialed in, or did you guys just kind of nail it on the first go around?
No, it was the former. It was a lot of trial and error to get it absolutely just right. And you mentioned the taste. The other thing that almost all these other brands have is they're using some sort of natural flavor enhancers to get you that vanilla or that coconut or that almond or that oat flavor. So we really are. I mean, we are what you see is what you get. And it's super, super pure, super, super simple. And it took months and months and months and months to get it just right. And like, I'll just speak for a second about our 2 blends. So we have 2 blends. One is this one, the oat and almond, and one is the oat and walnut. And these are sweetened. They're lightly sweetened. They've got 2 grams of very, very, very fine pulverized date sugar that's in there. And the reason why we use the date is because this way we can use the whole fruit. So all the fiber, all the vitamins, all the minerals, everything. So it's not empty calories. And it gives it just those 2, just a little bit of sweetness for people that want a little sweet. So if it's your kids, like my kids, they love just a little bit of that sweetness that's in there. And so that's what those 2 provide. And we're the only ones that I know that have a oat and walnut blend. We love the oat, the walnuts because of obviously the omega-3s that they provide. And the oat and almond, we just took the 2 most popular top selling milks that are on the shelf. And we're like, why not do a blend of oat and almond? And we love the way that one turned out as well.
For people that like coffee, do these things work really well to add a little bit of cream there?
Absolutely. The almond milk, if you like something that, what's it called when it kind of, bubbles up and stuff? Foams.
Foam. Yes, right? Sir. That's the word.
This is your ticket right here. My wife loves the oat in her coffee, but if you want something that foams, do the almond. And I can tell you that I love the almond milk on my Rip's Big Bowl cereal every single morning. And they come in 3 delicious varieties. We have a date.
I love it. Of course, they're right there.
A date and raisin. We have a berry almond, and then we also have a banana walnut.
Yeah, I love it, man. You need a QVC show or something like that. You're very good at this with the products right there, just holding them up to the camera. That takes talent, man. Not everybody can do that.
Oh, come on. And then, I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't say something about our heat and eat chili and stews. We've got 4 different varieties. This was the original classic that I had back at Whole Foods, but this is the Engine 2 Firehouse chili right here. It meets every criteria when it comes to passing the Physicians Committee sniff test. And then, of course, we just came out with a chunky chipotle right now. We've also got a spicy Cajun jambalaya. And the beautiful thing about these, I'm not going to go through all 10 of these, but you just basically, you take it, you straighten it up like this, and then there's a perforated top here, and you just tear it open. You don't need scissors. You don't need a knife. You tear it open. You open it up. You pour it into your microwave safe bowl, or pour it into your little saucepan, and in a minute and a half, you've basically got a lunch or dinner. And I typically put it over rice, sweet potato, a bed of arugula or shredded kale. It is the simplest thing when you're in a hurry for a quick lunch or dinner, camping, you name it.
And to go back to what it was we were talking about earlier in the show, the man card, a lot of people also think, well, if I don't eat the keto diet, if I don't eat that standard diet, I'm not getting a lot of protein. I guarantee your chilies there that are packed with all of those beans are protein powerhouses.
Just wait. So you know what? I'm glad you brought that up. And I will say this. So this guy right here, Chuck, you guessed, how many grams of protein do you think are in this carton if you were to eat the whole thing? And it's only 16.9 ounces.
All right. I'm going to go with 16.9. I'll go with 16 grams of protein. What do we got?
All right. That's a good guess, my man, but you're a little shy today.
I'm shy.
29 grams. Can you see it?
Wow.
29 grams.
That is a lot.
And most of us, you know what, we only need somewhere between 55 to 75 grams of protein per day. You've got basically knocked back 50% of your grams right there very, very easily. And, but you and I both know, I think you're in the same camp I am, that we don't really worry about protein. But for those that worry about it, we just thought we'd put it there front and center, how many grams there are on every one of them. And you can see this spicy Cajun's got 25. The Engine 2, this one has 19. So they vary from right around 18, 19 to 29.
And again, I mean, that's marathon food, damn it. I'm sure again that would pass the Charlie Wright test. You talk about the PCRM ingredients test. I just think the Charlie Wright taste test is really what it's going to boil down to. So I'll make sure that he gets some of those too. We'll put that up on social media, see how he does. But I want to go back to the milk. Like, jokes aside for a second, one of the things they talk about all the time, plant-based diet, is if you're going to eat this way, you're going to need to fortify with B12. You clearly, thought about that when you were putting the milk together. So if somebody were to just drink your milk and get a cup of it a day, is that going to cover their B12 needs?
Absolutely. In fact, I have a good story for you. But yes, so what we've got here is we've got on all 4 of ours are fortified with 3 different vitamins and minerals. So basically what we have is we've got 25% of the RDA for vitamin D, and we use a vitamin D3 that is vegan. We provide 25% of your calcium. We have 300 milligrams of calcium. We wanted to be on par with cow's milk for those people that, for whatever reason, just felt like they needed their calcium. So we're 300 milligrams of calcium. And then when it comes to vitamin B12, we've got basically 2.5 micrograms, which is 100% of your RDA. And so, Chuck, about a year and a half ago, I tested low for B12. I was about 350. And, the scale there is 250 is the low end and about 1100 is the high end. And we did our first production run for these milks. And it came in generic packaging. They just had to make sure that all of our ingredients flowed through everything correctly. So we had to do a pre-production run of 30,000 of these oat and walnuts. And so I've got probably 200 6-packs sitting in the the PlantStrong World headquarters. And so I took them home. I literally was drinking this during the day. I had it on cereal. I used it for pancakes. I used it for everything. I checked my B12 6 months later, and it went from 350 to 1100, the absolute high end of where it should be.
Wow.
So yes.
Wow.
And that's the only thing that I did differently when it comes to B12.
That's outstanding. I like that a lot. So I know that right now, if people head over to your website, plantstrong.com, you guys also ship directly to consumer, which is huge in case it's not being carried in the stores near you. But hopefully sometime soon, you will be able to find them on the store shelf. So plantstrong.com. And if you go, you sign up right now, you can get 15% off of your first order. There's a link to that in the episode notes. What's the reception been like for the direct to consumer aspect of PlantStrong?
Oh, fabulous. We are averaging, depending upon the month and what we're promoting, we are averaging 3,000 to 4,000 orders a month. So that's really close to 100 to 120 orders a day. So we could not be more pleased with the reception, how much people are enjoying these clean, wholesome PlantStrong products. And our goal is just to continue to build up our e-commerce Shopify store. So there's more and more choices that people have to fill their baskets with different products that will make this lifestyle that much easier for them. We're looking at actually doing a line extension on the pancake and waffle mixes. We're going to be doing a line extension on our pizza crust kits that are just, I mean, that is one of our hero products right now, is these pizza crust kits. You get 5 crusts in a kit along with 5 sauce packs. And it comes in this, it's called this mapping technology, modified atmospheric packaging. And they can live in there for about 3 months, but we recommend when you get it, you cut it open, put the pizza crust in the big freezer bag that's included, and then put the sauce packs in your pantry. But people love them, super clean, like 5 ingredients on these pizza crust kits. But we're coming out with a personal size pizza crust. We're looking at a lot of other different new products, but that's going to be a surprise. So I'm not going to say it now, but you can have me back and I'd love to talk about it.
Of course, man. You're very good at this, product line announcements.
Like QVC, baby.
I dig it, man. I dig it. I think we got to figure out a way to put the PS and QVC. So maybe QPS VC, PlantStrong, just work it in there somewhere. But I think that's really cool. Real quick before I let you go, you were mentioning natural flavors. And a lot of the, ultra processed foods that we buy, we don't look at the ingredients, but if we did, you would see natural flavors on there. So as somebody who's in the food industry, can you peel back that curtain for us a little bit and finally shed some light on what the heck a natural flavor actually is? It's so ambiguous, man.
Well, the thing about natural flavors is, and you're right, it is very ambiguous, and you can hide a lot of different things underneath that kind of umbrella, natural flavors. There can be MSGs. There can be all kinds of gut disruptors that are in natural flavors. Now, I do want to say some natural flavors are absolutely benign. They're fine. There's nothing wrong with them. But we have just chosen that we want to be completely transparent with everything, and we have nothing to hide at PlantStrong. And so we've decided we're not going to be messing around with natural flavors. So I can't peel it back completely for you, other than to say a lot of companies, they put natural flavors and it gives them kind of license to put a lot of things in there that we don't want going into our bodies.
I would imagine if somebody has a food allergy concern, that can kind of get them in a little bit of trouble too, right? So if somebody's, say, allergic to mushrooms, I know mushrooms not exactly the least healthy food in the world. Matter of fact, you could say it's one of the healthier ones. But if somebody's allergic to that, or nuts or whatever, that can be a problem.
Absolutely. And, the FDA has gotten very, very rigorous on packaging requirements. If there's any kind of like the top 10 allergens that are out there, you have to label that on your packaging. And like, I'm just trying to look for an example here for you. Let's see here. But like, for example, we have some cashew butter in our creamy white bean chili. And so we have got to let people know that this contains cashews in it, because there's certain individuals that are allergic to cashews.
Absolutely. Hey, man. Look, in addition to this line, this is just a big, busy year for you. You've got PlantStrong coming up.
Oh my God. Woo!
And I know my boy Will Bolsowitz, isn't he at PlantStrong this year?
No, you know what? Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, for the first time since 2019, we're going back live in person, PlantStrong. We're going to be, forever it was at the Esselstyn family farm, which was very iconic and wonderful, but we outgrew that location, much to everyone's chagrin. But this new place, it's on the hillside of an amazing mountain outside of Asheville, North Carolina. If you're one of the first 250 people, I think we're at 200 now, you can actually stay on the mountain in one of the little venues that are there. But it's 1,500 acres. The hiking's insane. There's 2 creeks that bifurcate through the property. So when you're walking around, you can always hear the water. We're going to have pickleball. We're going to have yoga. We're going to have dancing, live music, cornhole, frisbee golf, kickball. We're going to have, as you said, Dr. Will Bolsowitz, who's an absolute, regular on the exam room. Carly Bodrug, Mrs. Plant U, that's just knocking it out of the park. Gemma Newman from the UK, who is just so delightful, such an amazing sense of humor, and so knowledgeable. Dr. Dawn Musalem. Have you ever had Dawn on the exam room?
I literally, as we record this, got back from Minnesota. We were both speaking at the same event and got the opportunity to interview her. It has not been released yet, but holy cow, what a story.
What a story, right? Between her cancer and then her heart transplant, yes.
And the fact that the heart came from somebody who was an IV drug user, had hepatitis C. That was the only heart that she could get. She really needed it.
Yeah.
Had a near-death experience. And oh, by the way, spoiler, becomes the first person in history, in the entire world, in the entire essence of time, to run a marathon on her first anniversary of receiving a transplanted heart. You want to talk about inspiration, Rip?
Yeah.
This woman is at the tippy top of the list.
Tippy top. And she, she's with the Mayo Clinic. Mad respect for Dawn. But she'll be there. John Mackey will be there, who again, just had on the podcast, and love and adore John. You've got Jane and Ann that will be, cooking up all kinds of crazy meals. You've got the Plant Bros. You probably don't know about the Plant Bros, but these guys, they make food and they pull out the drills and the chainsaws. I mean, they do it manly.
Yeah, baby. I love it, man.
Yeah. And then we'll see. The wild card is going to be Essie, right? If I can get my dad to come.
That's so amazing, man. That sounds like a whole heck of a lot of fun. So I hope that you guys have a blast. I believe it's right around the time of the International Conference on Nutrition and Medicine. So I think I'll be tied up in DC. Otherwise, I'd be there too, man. I'd definitely be one of the first 200.
Oh, well, yeah. And we're going to cut it off at 450. And it's August 16th to the 18th.
Yep.
And we'd love to have anybody that wants to come and party with us and all the other Brock stars.
Yeah, man. Yeah, rock on. Yeah, so we'll look at that with the laser light show. Well done, sir. Well done. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna drop a link to not just Plant Strong, but Plant Stock. All of that's gonna be in the show description and in the episode notes for you. So if you want to go have an absolute phenomenal time, go ahead, click that link, sign up. Be one of the first 250. Stay on the mountain, have a grand old time, party on for 3 days of plants and health and hell, man. Maybe next year I can slide on down there and be entertained by everything that you got going.
I would love to have you be part of it. Let's have you as part of the lineup.
Do it, man. Let's talk, man. We'll talk more once we wrap up. And oh, by the way, we're fresh out of time right now. So how about that? Rip, congratulations on the new line of burgers, man. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, I love what you're doing because you are just pushing forward the notion that you can, in fact, be all that is man and be healthy at the same time. And the healthiest of healthies, not this macho Hollywood version of health that we all aspire to, the too good to be true kind of health, but like actual true health and have muscles. And it's just a beautiful thing, brother.
Chuck, you know what else is a beautiful thing? You are my man, my PlantStrong brother. You are. I appreciate you. Thanks for having me back on.
Always a pleasure. Thanks, Rip.